Australian beaches. And the young people are not merely joggers. They are lifesavers.
Yeah, at least it's sensible today.
Queenslander Mark Rayburn. Younger lifesavers from South Australia, Andrew and Tim Peacock, touch toes to keep fit in the early hours. Andrew's 15 and Tim is just 10 years old. Helicopter crewman Dr. Ken Wishaw from New South Wales is in the business of saving lives too. These are the surf lifesavers. Our wide, sandy and exhilarating beaches are known throughout the world. Australians surely are the lucky people to be able to enjoy them with such an assurance of safety. This is due to a rare breed of men and women who give so much of their leisure time and often risk their lives to save others in the waters of our surf beaches. These are today's surf lifesavers of Australia. At the turn of the century, men of vision in Australia created the reel, line and belt and put a powerful swimmer on the end of the line to save people from drowning. This was the start of the first surf life-saving movement in the world. But before that, in the 1890s, a group of boxers, wrestlers, footballers and fishermen formed the Bondi Baths Surf and Social Club. They met at Wally Weeks's barbershop in Paddington and trained in the sandhills of Sydney's North Bondi. In 1982, the Surf Lifesaving Association of Australia celebrated its first 75 years and the recorded saving of over 250,000 people. Now uses equipment and facilities, communication systems and life-saving aids undreamt of by the founding fathers.
Romeo, proceeding North Valley.
Modern aids to safety are becoming increasingly essential as more people use the beaches and more beaches are opened for visitors. These aids would be useless without the services of the dedicated surf lifesaver who voluntarily devotes hours, days and weeks of time to train, exercise or simply to be on patrol duty. Queenslander Mark Rayburn has captained Australia's surf lifesaving teams in competition overseas.
The Ironman event would be the one most people associate with surf lifesaving competition. This consists of roughly a 200-metre swim, then a 300-metre board paddle, and ends with a 100-metre ski paddle and a dash along the beach. Well, this event is reckoned to be the top test of physical endurance, and I personally think that it is. Competitors like champion Grant Kenny deserve all the plaudits that they're getting because it really is a hard event. Kenny uses his strength for speed and stamina and uses his keen brain to take advantage of the tactical situation by catching the right wave. Why competition? Well, if I was going on beach patrol next weekend, I doubt if I train every morning of the week on the chance I might be called on to make a rescue. But if I'm going to have a surf race next weekend or compete in a carnival, I'll be training like mad because I want to win. I want my club to win. I'm a lifesaver because I enjoy very much the comradeship that goes with being a member of a club. I enjoy the competition and being given the opportunity to compete against members of other clubs, other states and countries. It's also saving lives, performing community service.
Competition is used by the Surf Lifesaving Association to achieve maximum skill and expertise amongst its members and to offer stimulation and motivation so that these skills can be utilised in practice. Rescue can be a matter of life or death.
Ah, out there! This is base, this is base, this is Mobile 2. We have a rescue. Could you please send down the rubber duck?
The average lifesaver is not necessarily a champion swimmer or surfer, but many members of Australian Olympic Games teams have been active surf lifesavers and members of clubs.
Helicopter 1, Gold Coast Command, boat-sided, North Burleigh, approximately 1 mile, flare-sided.
Gold Coast Command, Helicopter 1, Romeo, proceeding North Burleigh.
Helicopter 1, Gold Coast Command, Romeo.
Communication systems like this one used on the Gold Coast enable rescue teams from all sources, the beach, water and the sky, to bear down on rescue situations immediately.
Roger, Command.
Gold Coast Command, this is North Burleigh Patrol. We're proceeding to helicopter area to assist.
Southport Police, Gold Coast Command, we have a boat approximately 1 mile, North Burleigh, flare-sided, helicopter airborne on its way.
Up onto the deck.
Life
Yep, letting go.
is
Up
precious.
to the deck.
More lives are being saved each year due to the efforts of members of the association, the lifeguards and other rescue services such as police and ambulance, with whom the Surf Lifesavers work in close unison. And yet safety revolves around these same volunteers, like Andrew Peacock from South Australia and his 10-year-old brother, Tim.
I want to be a surf lifesaver like my brother. He's a top ski and Malibu paddler, and that's really something to aim for. In the Junior Lifesavers, we learn how to look after ourselves in the surf. We also learn how to watch out for marine stingers, even how not to get sunburnt.
Now look, kids, these conditions are not what we normally have in South Australia, and in particular at Moana. It's changed a lot since yesterday, which you all would have seen. And the big difference is that we've got a big rolling surf with a lot of power in it. And if you went out in that water today, it would knock you over. As well as that, when you went under, there are lots of small rips forming, and we can only see them. They're changing from place to place. Once you went down, you'd get carried out. When you got carried out, because of the big waves coming in, we wouldn't even see you, right? We wouldn't normally have kids swimming in these conditions. We try to prevent people getting into trouble. And on a day like today at Moana Beach, we would close the beach because it's not safe. It's not safe to swim, and we don't want to have to effect a rescue in those conditions because it's not safe to rescue either. It's really quite dangerous out there today.
You can join the Surf Lifesavers when you're 7 and go on to be a cadet when you're 13. When you get to be 15, you can then go for your bronze, and if you pass that, you become a real lifesaver.
Set out the patrol equipment end area, put up the flags, put up patrol area and lay out the equipment. Okay, Colin, why do we have a patrol area?
To protect the swimmers from drowning, and we put up the flags in one area of the beach which is safest, so they don't drown in another area of the beach, and we can go along and collect. Instead of roaming up and down the beach, we can put them in one area, and it's easier for us and better for them.
All right, kids, we're just going to do a run, swim, run. We'll line you up here on the line, around the green flag, out to Colin on the board, back in, round the flag, and finish across the line. Okay? All right, we'll just get you to line up along the line here. We'll take it from there, right? Let's go. Ready, go!
It's a lot of fun for the kids, but they are also learning. And what they learn might help save lives one day. Most rescues are still launched from the beach by Lifesaver, board, tube, or motor-powered craft. But helicopters are often called to give immediate medical service, whilst other medical backup services are on their way. Helicopters are spectacular contributors to Surf Life Saving's new technological image. Each unit has 20 volunteers, including doctors, scuba divers, and experienced first aid and resuscitation experts.
The first few minutes are the most important for the victim, and being able to bring medical treatment so soon by the use of the helicopter often converts a life-threatening situation into a stable one.
I want some oxygen on him as soon as possible. We'll be taking him to hospital by helicopter. I want to put an intravenous cannula in as well.
a medical crewman, I regularly get involved in this sort of rescue operation. I derive a great deal of pleasure in being involved in surf lifesaving, especially as I know that my skills are being used to the best advantage. It's very satisfying having a helicopter, its crew and equipment, so that we can respond within seconds or minutes.
Professional lifeguards like John Spicer and Frank Snoys, employed by a local council, also serve on our beaches. They have a fine record of saving lives as well.
Nice and safe for the...
Typical is lifeguard John Spicer, who was responsible for a spectacular rescue at Avalon Beach.
Now what John's doing now is he's going to lie the patient down, and the head must be slightly lower than the feet. If the person's going to be sick, or if there's water in there that has to come out, it's not going to interrupt your mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Next thing he does, he opens the airway by bringing the maximum head tilt, 4 quick breaths, and then feel for the carotid pulse. If there is a pulse, you can continue with your mouth-to-mouth resuscitation until that person starts breathing again. All right, now the patient started breathing again. Let's see exactly what we were doing. 3 very important things to remember: airway, breathing and circulation, ABC. Okay, now let's do the maximum head tilt. Bring the head back like so, opening up the airway. 4 quick breaths, and then we check the carotid pulse to see if there's a heartbeat. Once we've checked the carotid pulse, if there is a heartbeat but there's no breathing, we just continue on with our mouth-to-mouth resuscitation like John's doing. And we watch the rise and fall of the chest. As the chest goes up, it's a signal to stop blowing air into the lungs. As it goes back down, that's a signal for fresh air to be blown back in again. And we continue this process until the person starts breathing for himself.
In Victoria, the professional lifeguards take their rescue and survival techniques into the schools and colleges.
With first today is just to find out what you guys know about surf and surf safety. Can anyone tell me what they do if they're in trouble in the surf and out of their depth? Yes.
You put one hand up.
Okay, one hand straight up in the air. A lot of people make the mistake, they say they'd raise 2 hands. But if you raise 2 hands, you haven't got your other hand to help keep your head above the water. With your kicking your legs, moving your hand, that helps you with your flotation. Another important point that a lot of people forget is when they're raising their hand, they should do it as they come up on a swell. Okay, there's troughs that go down, and then a swell comes up, and then a trough. And most important that you raise it as you come up on a crest of a wave. All right, another important aspect is panic. This would be the biggest killer in the surf. Most people, as soon as they're in trouble, they panic. It's the worst thing you can do. You use up energy, which would help you keep you afloat, and people panic, they sink.
What we're talking about here, boys, is if a swimmer is caught in a rip. A rip is a body of water travelling out to sea. As a swimmer comes out to the back, the rip is strongest here, weakest here. A strong swimmer can swim against the rip on an angle. A weaker swimmer can travel with the rip to its weakest point, and if assistance is required, one hand is raised. And don't panic.
lifesavers get together in competition. Competition designed to fine-tune their skills for lifesaving in carnivals held throughout the summer season. Australia's beaches have never been safer. Lifesavers on boards, tubes and surf skis save many lives in the seas off Australian beaches. They are supported by an expanding fleet of helicopters, powered inflatable craft and jet rescue boats. These modern machines are linked to a sophisticated radio communications network, but more importantly, backed by the traditional enthusiasm and dedication of Australia's 50,000 volunteer lifesavers.